I'm going to drop the mic on all of this right now, once and for all.
I love both guys.
Thank you so much.
I love both guys. I had a conversation with Stephen A. about it, and I told him I was Brown. I'd have walked up on him the same way.
Stephen A. Smith is out here tweaking hard, and Dwyane Wade is living for it. Stephen tried to stir up mess about LeBron James, but Wade pulled up and shut it down quick. He checked Stephen right there, but instead of chilling, Stephen went off again, ranting about it on his show like it was nothing. He doesn't think he did anything wrong and is now pointing fingers, saying Dwyane came for him.
That's my job. That's my job. I'm supposed to ignore that while he's wearing a Lakers uniform?
From spicy interviews to wild reactions all over social media, this beef is heating up fast. But what really happened? Why is Stephen so locked in on this, and why is the internet dragging him for it?
So we got the Draymond Greens out there with his damn podcast. For some reason, suddenly forgetting my character and who I am, and he's talking about, yo.
Dwyane Wade and LeBron James, they've been tight forever. They came up in that 2003 draft class together and even grabbed 2 rings with the Miami Heat. Even Stephen has to admit these two share something real special.
They talk about LeBron James, and they were talking about who's his best teammate ever, and they brought up Anthony Davis, and they brought up Kyrie Irving. I said, Dwyane Wade.
What's dope about their bond is that after all these years, Dwyane still rides for his best man, no matter what's going down. Wade decided to step up big time and put Stephen on blast for capping about his drama with LeBron during his appearance on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn with Carmelo Anthony. Dwyane started by breaking down his relationship with both of them, saying he's close with each side. And yeah, he had a convo with Stephen after that viral moment.
I have a personal relationship with Stephen A. Obviously, my relationship with Brian and my relationship with Brian is documented.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And I have a relationship with Stephen A. as well. And so we talk. You know what I mean? I'm not talking out of school. Me and him text back and forth about the situation.
And guess what Dwyane told him? He told him, if I was a father, I would have pulled the same move on you.
I told him, as a father, I'm walking up on you.
Right.
He also pointed out how it was wild that LeBron even stepped to Stephen like that, since the king barely ever loses his cool.
I get it, because I'm like that too. Like I'm at you.
Of course.
But also, you know what I told him, I said, and I think we've never seen LeBron do that. Like we've never seen, like LeBron don't even go back at players that foul him too hard on the court. We've never seen him be, like he's always been just even keel and level headed in every aspect. And sometimes you want him to jump, sometimes you want him to go, and he won't.
But the real reason LeBron snapped, watching Stephen sitting there on that bench, talking about his son in front of everyone, that's what made LeBron get heated. And to Dwyane, it made total sense. And he told Stephen straight up the same thing. For context, Stephen was still salty about LeBron getting in his face during that sit-down on the Gills Arena. Stephen even called it weak that LeBron decided to check him in front of the cameras.
What do you make of LeBron confronting you in the aftermath of that situation?
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some.
But Dwyane wasn't about to let Stephen slander his best bro like that. At the same time, he didn't want to let it spiral out of control either. So Dwyane hit Stephen with a slick take, telling him that LeBron stepping up to him like that was actually a compliment in disguise.
But, you know, I told him, I said, you know, Stephen, I think the one thing is, and first of all, I take it as that's a sign of respect that LeBron did that to you.
See, Stephen's got the loudest voice in the NBA world, and now he's basically the face of ESPN. And in his own twisted way, LeBron seemed to recognize that.
Your microphone is the loudest, your platform is the biggest, and also you're a black man.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, man, so you got to understand, you know, where he's coming from with that. If he even approached you, because yes, the Skip Bayless of the world and all these guys have said things about him his entire career, and he's been above it. He stayed quiet above it and did his thing. And so that meant something. That's respect right there for what everything you built. We know Stephen A. from Quite Frankly. We know Stephen A. when he was on the come up. And so that's respect.
But Dwyane wasn't blind to how wild this moment really was for most people. A star NBA player step into a sports commentator during the game, that's not something you see every day.
You know, it's a touchy situation because we've never seen this before. We've never seen this before when it comes to son, father, what do you say, what don't you say, you know, in that aspect. So I don't know if it's a right answer, but I would have walked up on him and said something too.
Dwyane kept it real during that interview, laying down facts plain and simple. And honestly, that should have been the end of it. But this is Stephen A. we're talking about, and he lives for drama and controversy. So you know he had to address Dwyane's comments on his show.
Because I want to put an end once and for all to this discussion about yours truly and LeBron James in light of what happened last week. Dwyane Wade and Carmelo Anthony, both of whom know LeBron very well, weighed in on the situation between me and LeBron.
And here's what Stephen had to say. Surprisingly, he actually thanked Dwyane for dropping the facts. Dwyane didn't try to make Stephen look like he backstabbed a friend or anything. He simply pointed out that LeBron and Stephen have never really seen eye to eye, and Dwyane acknowledged that. Stephen said, like Melo said, "It's been stewing for years." He added, "See, what I've gotten pissed about with this particular subject is that too many people are not touching on the truth. Melo and D Wade did." And Stephen kept it 100 by saying, "Me and LeBron don't have a relationship. LeBron don't mess with me and I don't mess with him. I respect the hell out of him." Stephen also cleared up why he's been out here talking about the incident on different shows. He could have just said his piece to LeBron's face that day, but he didn't. Turns out Stephen didn't want to cause a scene. He said, "Me and LeBron, we don't roll like that. High and by, he ain't have much use for me and I damn sure don't have much use for him." And that was cemented when he did what he did the other day, because you rolled up on me knowing I wouldn't have a chance to respond unless I was willing to make a scene, which was at courtside while the national televisions were rolling on the day that my new contract had been announced to the world. Stephen made it clear this drama wasn't going to stop him from doing his job. He also fired back at the internet, telling people to stop claiming he was out here dragging Bronny James. Stephen said he's never done that, and if anyone tries to come for him with that claim again, he's got the video receipts to shut them down.
I think his wife is the first lady of the NBA, class personified. I think his mom is an absolutely wonderful woman. I don't have to talk to Randy much. That's a good brother. Rich Paul and me are pretty damn cool. Rich is good people. Bronny James, that is not true. To the James family and all your close confidants and loved ones, that is not true. I have video. Documentation.
On top of that, Stephen confirmed Dwyane did reach out and talk to him about the situation, and he even showed some love for his old pal.
D Wade is told 1000% truth when he said what he texted me and said to me, because we do have a relationship. I love that brother. That's my dog.
But halfway through his rant, Stephen started turning up. Man was straight up yelling into the mic.
I would never call out somebody as a father for stuff that's going on in the privacy of your life in your home. But I covered the NBA. And what I was talking about when it came to fatherhood was what we were seeing on an NBA basketball court. That's my job. That's my job.
What's wild is that after all this backlash, Stephen said he's not taking back a single word he said. You'd think he'd sit down and reflect on how he could have avoided this whole circus, but nah.
It's a week later, and I'm not going to talk about this anymore. But let me say this to y'all. It's a week later. I'm not backing up from a word I said. I was right. I was doing my job. And in the process of doing my job, I wasn't doing my job when I didn't talk about him.
Honestly, it's starting to feel like Stephen is dragging this situation just to keep it alive. One person even said, "For the last time, bro said this like 3 times already," while someone else posted, "You don't want to end this, you love this convo." Even LeBron James seems like he's over it, with people saying he feels like Stephen needs to get a life at this point. Yeah, LeBron finally broke his silence, and here's what he had to say. During his appearance on the Pat McAfee show, LeBron called out Stephen for blowing the whole situation way out of proportion. It's been weeks, and Stephen is still out here playing the same tune. LeBron even compared Stephen to Taylor Swift, saying he's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now. Ha ha ha. LeBron added, "I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it. But since the video came out, I feel the need to address it." Math. Are you kidding me? If there's anyone who couldn't wait for that video to drop just so he could address it, it's you, Steven. LeBron also feels like it was a waste of time confronting Steven in the first place because the man didn't change his attitude at all. Steven missed the entire point. LeBron made it clear, never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job to criticize. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and get personal with it, it's my job to protect my damn household and protect the players. And LeBron is dead sure Steven's gonna drop another video after hearing these comments?
And I know that he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about him again. Oh my God, he's gonna get home and grab some ice cream out of the freezer and sit in his chair in his tighty whities on the couch.
I hope at some point you two do get a chance. But you're right.
Dude, relax, bro. Relax. Seriously.
And honestly, LeBron's just saying what everyone else is thinking. Take Draymond Green, for example. He also thinks Steven is dragging this situation for clout. Draymond even reminded Steven what could happen if he keeps that attitude up in the streets. Draymond said, "A lot of problems that guys have with media is to call something that man did BS or weak. Those are words where we grew up. You get hands put on you." That's what Draymond hinted could happen, and he wasn't feeling the way Steven handled this whole situation. The Warriors star let it be known, saying, "Calling another man weak, that's not basketball." That's exactly what Bron was saying from the jump. Draymond added, "You're calling Bron weak for stepping to you, but you're out here taking shots at him as a father on TV behind a camera. Most people would say that's what's weak." He also said, "You're on national TV condemning a black man as a father just because his son is playing in the NBA. How does that even make sense? I can't respect that, honestly." It's kind of dope seeing LeBron got folks lining up to protect him, because not everyone online thinks Bron had a right to get in Steven's face on national TV like that. Take Candace Owens, for example. She thinks if LeBron insists on putting his son on the court, then he should be ready for the backlash that comes with it.
If you are trying to make the argument, LeBron, that your son is ready to play in the big leagues, then he has to be ready to deal with the criticism, okay? That's just how this works.
Former Super Bowl champ Ryan Clark also shared his take. He gets where LeBron is coming from as a father, saying, "I'm not LeBron, but I am a father, and I'm willing to die for mine." But Ryan also wanted Bron to understand that if Bronny's gonna play as a pro, he's definitely going to catch criticism, and LeBron just has to deal with it. Plus, Bronny's getting paid well for it. Ryan said, "Granted, Bronny gets criticized more than any other 55th pick in the draft, but he also gets more love, money, and opportunities than any other, thanks to his father's greatness." And as for the man at the center of all this, Bronny James, he's been silent about the whole situation. Bronny's been keeping his head down and staying locked in on the game during the Lakers showdown against the Bucks. The rookie came off the bench and dropped a career-high 17 points in 30 minutes. Even Steven had to give it up, saying, "I was very impressed because I saw an elevation in his level of confidence and poise." Bronny didn't look rattled at all. He wasn't out there looking nervous like in some of his earlier games. He looked like he belonged on that court. And let's keep it real. The Lakers were down bad without LeBron, without Luka, without Rui, and without Austin Reeves. So that opened the door for Bronny to snag those 30 minutes. But credit where credit is due, he delivered. But just because Steven threw a few compliments Bronny's way, don't expect Dwyane and LeBron to back down anytime soon. Steven's got a long history of stirring the pot, and he's still out here claiming he's right about everything. But what do you think? Did Dwyane check Steven the right way, or is this drama getting old? And when do you think Steven will finally let it go? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell so you never miss out when we drop the next breakdown. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.